Welcome everyone to an episode of Campaign Countdown. Today we're talking with an awesome creator. His comic is called Mythics, and it's launching tonight on Kickstarter. Mythics #2 is launching tonight on Kickstarter at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're just sitting down a little bit with him today to talk to him about his comic and what we can expect from this upcoming issue. So welcome, Matt.
It's nice to be here.
And how are you doing this fine day?
Well, stayed inside. I'm in Michigan after all.
Hey, you know what? It's probably a good day to stay inside anyway. I don't know about you, but it's sweltering heat out here, so it's definitely a good day for indoors.
Let me tell you this way. A few days ago, it was snowing in Michigan.
Yeah, definitely good day to stay indoors then. Jeez. Well, thank you again for taking the time to sit with us and talk to us a little bit about your comic today. So, for those who don't know, can you go ahead and maybe just give us a little bit of an introduction on who you are and what your comic's about?
My name is Matt Trin, and I'm the creator of a Mythoverse-affiliated book called Mythics, which is about Althea Fletcher and her familiar Gallatin as they take on cases involving the supernatural. They're part of the Mythic Order, which is a ancient order that's been protecting humanity from supernatural threats from the shadows. And, well, there's a lot of unique things I'm going to do with it, such as the idea that magic isn't a religious experience, it's more of a tool. It's not going to be Althea's main job that makes her money. She'll have a primary source of income as a freelance writer. So it'll be a lot more, in a way, it's a lot more grounded. Despite her use of magic as a tool, it's going to be much like a Hellblazer comic where it's not going to be used until it's absolutely necessary. And with Althea and anyone part of the Mythic Order, their ability to use magic is tied to their familiars, which helps them focus. One thing, which will be something that'll be shown in this new issue.
Very nice, man.
Yeah.
And the new issue picks up exactly where the first one left off, I take it?
It starts off at the morning after.
Very nice.
And we introduce a brand new character by the name of Bob Jones.
For those of you familiar,
very creative name. Very creative.
Who knows? It could have come from anywhere, really. If we really, are going to be
honest.
That
is very true.
Yeah. Who knows? Really.
Well, we have there's a friend of the Mythoverse who created a video series called Comic Wars, where he portrays a character named Bob Jones. And we asked him if he wanted to be part of the Mythoverse as a conspiracy theorist for.
So he's your J. Jonah Jameson character?
Well, or Alex Jones.
I figured that I went there first because I know you love that character, so I figured there's got to be at least a little inspiration there.
Well, just the J.K. Simmons version, of course.
Right, exactly.
It's that guy made the character personally.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Yeah. At this point, it's like, yeah, he is the character. Yeah, it's so true. But that's awesome. I mean, I want to hear some more about your inspirations. Like, what kind of inspired you to create a story like this?
Well, it's something that I've gone through, and I'm going to go through with the writer's notebook, which is in the rewards tier.
Nice. But
it all came about when I was bored on a 6-hour trip to Chicago to go to Wizard World, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote an entire script during that ride.
Wow.
Came up with the characters, came up with the setting, all on the spot, and just started writing.
And it all just kind of came out all in one session, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
27 pages.
Jeez. Wow, that's really interesting to hear how that kind of came about in that way. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, the first issue, obviously, for those who don't know, it was a part of a Kickstarter campaign with a shared universe called the Mythiverse, and they launched together as three comics: Mythics, Changeling, and Adobe Kroger, and you guys got great success on Kickstarter, and you're looking to continue your success once again. This time, you guys have shifted to doing solo releases. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what went into thinking behind that?
Well, one of the issues with the 3-for-1 was that the money was distributed without. Basically, out of all the comics, Changeling got the most amount because it had the most amount of pages.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I had to cut Mythics issue 1 a little short because I didn't want either of them to cut their scripts because their scripts were solid. And it seemed rather. I didn't want all of the books to suffer,
No, I get that, and that was really generous of you. Honestly, that was nice of you. So, do you have plans to try and catch people up on that cut material, or is that something that's we're not going to get to see, or maybe is like a deleted scene at some point?
Well, considering how I want to do a reworked version of the script, and Beth is I think right now she's one of those types of artists who would jump on the chance to redo some of her old work, because she did that with the preview pages, and when she ran her webcomic, she also deleted some earlier pages of that and uploaded new ones because she didn't think it was up to par.
I know Matt B here can relate to that. He's talked about going back and redoing Project Art early chapters.
Yeah. I think it's more of an artist thing where we kind of look at our old art and we kind of look at it like, oh man, so many mistakes made, so many. And the way I look at it is like, well, it's just more of a look on to see how far I've come, and I just kind of like redoing some of my old work to see if I can improve upon it even more. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's more of like an artistic thing, which I'm pretty sure with Beth, it's kind of around that same thought process, probably. I'm not trying to speak for her because I'm not her, obviously. It's just trying to relate through my perspective of that subject.
Personally, I think it'd be cool to see a remaster of Mythics #1 at some point.
Well, what that's probably going to be is either a full Kickstarter, or we just go and add that to the amount that I need for Mythics Volume 1 trade paperback.
Yeah, I could see either one of those working, honestly. But I mean, it's just looking through the art, her art's really good, and honestly, I think she's just getting better with each issue.
Yeah, she's always improving, so that's one of that's a benefit of working with her.
It was funny. I was just rereading it, as I mentioned to you just a little earlier before we started, and I love the iconicness of the characters. They all stand out really well. Like, I'm like, oh, this character is really interesting. I love their personality, or we can't wait to follow these people's story, or like with the detectives, or there's all these different characters that you've kind of populated your world with. How did you kind of come about creating all these different characters?
Well, with Althea and Gallatin, they've been mostly unchanged since the first run of the script. There were physical changes for Althea, because earlier, for the first issue, she originally had a scar from an incident that happened in her past, and just what changed with her was that since all of these first issues for the Mythoverse were basically origin stories, then I'd tell her origin story as a younger woman, basically just coming out of Mythics boot camp and ready to take on her first mission. And with the story for Mythics Volume 1 is that I figure, why not just do a story that acts as a glue for the Mythoverse? So I'll have Upheld in here, and Baby Changing there.
Yeah,
And
that's a nice touch, man.
yeah, and make it feel somewhat organic.
And I think you did that really well. Like, as I was reading the first issue, I definitely got that sense of a connected universe. Now, before we're gonna get started here in just a few minutes, and we'll start taking a look at the Kickstarter page, the preview page, which launches tonight. But before you do that, I wanted to ask, maybe you could tell us about what went to your thought process on the creation of issue 2 after having successfully finished number 1.
Well, I decided that since the first issue was more about setting up this world, I'd have this be more about Althea and her and some things that in her past, such as in this one that takes the Spriggans into account. And I know I've been talking about how silly Spriggans are, how you have to turn your clothes inside out to become invisible to them. Well, I decided to, instead of go and do the deconstructionist route, I'd keep that weakness of theirs. But the thing that makes them all the more dangerous is not knowing about is how cunning they can be, such as the Mythic Order sends Althea to this burrow to retrieve an artifact as a test to see how they'll do with thinking on her feet. Well, that doesn't go so well because their recon missed one Spriggan that was out. So that Spriggan ends up being the reason why Althea has a huge fear of them.
It's really interesting, man. So kind of play kind of the traditional stuff in with the character itself in a way.
Yep. And it also makes her more human to have a fear of something that seems rather silly to when you look at on the outside.
Kind of subverting that expectation a little bit.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Except I'm not Ryan Johnsoning it.
Right. Well, yeah, you're not destroying the expectations. We're just asking for a simple subversion. That's all. But we could go on. This isn't the Star Wars podcast. This is the Mythics podcast. So
I've always felt like the best way to subvert expectations is to, instead of taking something that everyone loves and just making them awful, you take take something, you make it look like it's going to be goofy, and then make it not goofy. Such as Spriggans. They can be easily made it do something goofy, which is why nobody really in fantasy RPGs or stories will ever talk about that clothing inside out weakness of theirs. They'll just they'll just ignore it completely.
Now, I apologize if you said this already, but what is the origin? Kind of like where does the legend of Spriggans come from?
I'll have to look that up because it's been a while since I saw it, but I think that it's definitely European I want to say,
Interesting, yeah.
It was probably part of the. It's a British mythology, Cornish fairy lore.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah. Huh. Well, it's really interesting. So it's like a tree-like person.
Yep.
I love mythology, man.
Yeah. A lot of times it's very goofy, but it's goofy in a good way. And one of the reasons why I wanted to put it as more of a mature story is because a lot of the mythologies and folklore deals with sexuality, such as you got succubi, you've got incubi. They're elves that rape people and so on. So
what a pleasant world.
yeah, I know, right? And so
No, that's awesome though. I love just the variety of kind of legends and folklore that you guys are working on. Now Brett says that's an Elder Scroll Spriggan. That's funny. Why are they all from Elder Scrolls?
The funny thing is that I gave Beth the only reference I could really give Beth about Spriggans comes from an old statue where it's just I'll send you the Wikipedia link where it has the image. So it's not going to look like a Spriggan from Elder Scrolls or anything like that, but it's based more upon the statue right here. Coming out of a wall. Anyone there?
Hey, I'm here. I don't know what happened to Michael though. He just went silent.
Okay. Yeah, and there's now just a loading sign. So,
oh, maybe the internet, but
Michael, you still alive?
hold on,
Yeah,
I'll see
if
what's going on real quick.
All right. Yeah, I got confused. I really got confused when I started seeing that loading.
Yeah. Like, oh, I think he's back.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's all right.
My computer crashed as I was trying to share the screen.
Okay.
But what were you guys discussing while I was gone?
We're discussing what happened to you.
You went. I was listening, and then
I fell into the Mythoverse, man. I think there was some sort of rabbit hole or some sort of portal. I'm not sure exactly, but
Michael,
I just thought I made it back alive.
Michael, were you around any kind of abandoned building? Because Spriggans love being making their homes in such places.
You know what? It's weird that you mentioned. There's no one else here. I think I'm in some sort of warehouse. I don't even know where I'm at right now. That is so bizarre. There's lots of time and everything. Oh, jeez. Guess we should we'll definitely need to get a mythic in here. We'll then order one of those in. but no, it'll definitely cost me an arm and a leg, so I can't afford that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, basically, Spriggans are nasty creatures.
Oh yeah. Oof. You definitely don't want to cross one of those.
No, you do not.
So why don't we take a look here at the Kickstarter page, which pops up tonight, and we'll give this thing a look, man. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your campaign?
Well, first of all, I want to say it's really weird how it looks because it looks somewhat professional, and I'm surprised I can do such a thing.
Come on, you gotta give yourself more credit than that, man.
Well, This Kickstarter will be an experimental one where we're trying out some new techniques that, if they work out, it'll be good for other campaigns, specifically anyone who's struggling at their own. So, if you want to scroll down, we can start talking about them.
Sure. And we're there.
And
that was a short Kickstarter, a little bit anticlimactic.
Well, I guess the preview page doesn't take you to the entire thing.
Maybe that's only because of you. Maybe you could just tease us a little bit about what we can expect to see tonight.
Well, what we're going to be doing. Of course, we're going to have the variant covers. People love variant covers. There's going to be at most 50 variants of issue 1 to be made, because people were asking about whether or not we're going to have the variants for issue 1. So I figure, maybe just give it a limit. So there's going to be 25 for a bundle that includes the issue 1 variant, issue 2 variant, regular versions of both, and the digitals of both. And on the second one, it's going to be a ultimate collection where it has everything that we're offering for this campaign. And
oh wow! So we'll have a chance to get the first Changeling and Dobie Kroger as well.
Well, in this campaign alone, but I guess it's time to reveal that we're doing a year 1 omnibus.
Oh snap!
Which will have 148 pages worth of content.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep. So the ultimate collection is basically going to be everything of issue 1, physical, digital, and variant cover. Everything of issue 2, the digital print collection, which is basically going to be, we're re-releasing the old print as well as the new print digital, and allowing people to print them off whenever, send them to the printers they want to take them to, and print them off if something happens to their old ones.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's kind of nice. Kind of like you can get a second copy if you'd like.
Yep. The issue 2 physical print, and then I'm going to throw in the year 1 omnibus, physical and digital.
Very nice.
So the year 1 omnibus isn't just the launch titles, but also every Mytho Chibi strip done between the first campaign and now.
That's pretty nice, man. That's a nice collection right there. And that's the first time that the Mytho Chibis is getting a print run, isn't it?
Yep.
Very nice.
The year 1 omnibus will be a Kickstarter exclusive, so.
Oh wow.
Yep. So
that'll be the only place to get it, really.
So if you don't get on my campaign, you can get either on Brett's or Dan's as well.
And then down the line, there might be a chance, way down the line for year 2, and all that good stuff. But I like that you guys are kind of giving a nice way for people to kind of jump into the Mythoverse. Like, here's year 1 of the Mythoverse. If you want to follow everything that we've got going on for Mythoverse, here it is.
Yeah, it's the Ultimate Collection is something that I think if you really enjoyed the Mythoverse, it's something you're going to really love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a nice one, man. Now, are you offering any kind of other kind of physical rewards this time around?
Well, right now with the whole issue with a global pandemic, we're going to have to we're trying to push more for digital.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know how bad this is going to go, and well, you heard about the situation in Michigan, so it's going to be, who knows what's going to happen in our states.
So a big emphasis on digital this time around, and obviously you have the physical comics, but definitely pushing the ability to get a lot of the perks digitally if you really wanted to. Sounds like.
Yeah, it's the times are bad right now.
But we're here bringing you some comic goodness to help lighten the atmosphere a little bit.
Yep, and there's also the Ultimate Digital Collection offered, so that it's really not going to be this it's not going to be something that you're going to be waiting for on delivery. As soon as everything's all ready, you're getting the digitals.
People will definitely be excited to hear that. I know that. Even though I'm sure there will still be the ones who hold out for the physical. You know, there will always be people in that camp. So I'm glad that you're still offering the physical, nonetheless.
Well, the thing is, I remember hearing one time the reason why people love physicals because it's sexy to them.
That's funny, man. They just want to hold it in their hands.
Yep.
No, but in a sense, I mean, it's kind of right. I mean, I love the way that the comics look when they're in print, man. There's no, when I remember when I was telling you I was rereading Mythics earlier, I was like, I almost pulled up the digital and read on my phone. I was like, no, I'm gonna go get my physical copy and read it, because it just looks so much better in physical. Well, in my opinion, digital looks. Digital. I mean, don't get me wrong, digital looks amazing, but there's something for me I love about the tactile feel of the pages. So yeah, I'm always a stickler. I love print books, but yeah, if you can have them both, I say go for them. The more the merrier, really. So, are there any higher tier options that you guys are offering in this campaign?
Well, it goes up to $95 for the Ultimate Collection plus issue 1 variant. Okay. At $10 less, it's the Ultimate Collection.
Nice.
And then $20 less is the Ultimate Digital Collection. So I'm hoping that that's all we're able to get as much money to making the books as possible.
So really focusing on just the production of the books, I would say?
Yep. And it took me a while to figure out how to create the perks and have not a good balance between how much it's going to cost to produce and how much it's going to cost to ship it out.
And so the Ultimate Collection comes with the trade paperback for year 1, is that right?
Yep.
Nice. And so, what kind of binding did you guys decide to go with? Like, or not binding, but is it like a trade paperback soft cover?
Yeah, it's gonna be a soft cover trade paperback.
Very nice, man. Yeah, I love those trade paperback feels. They always look so nice.
And the thing is that I think that's going to be really great if we get the same amount of money as the Mythoverse campaign, is that I'll be able to go all in on production on issue 3 early. So I'd get most of issue 3 done before the next campaign, and the next campaign will be I'll be pushing for both completing issue 3 and then the complete issue 4.
Now, are you thinking about stretch goals at this point? Is there anything like that running around your mind?
The stretch goals are the next books. That's all it's going to be.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, man, that's a good. And personally, I like that as a stretch goal. That's what we're here for. We're here for story. So let's do. Let's get more story if we can.
Yeah, that's the thing that we've noticed that other campaigns don't do. They'll go for stuff that'll add on to their cost and production time. So we're going to say, get rid of that. We're going to push the books. We're only here to push our stories, and that's it. no gimmicks or anything like that.
Nice, man. Very nice. Well, I think that's a really smart way to do it, honestly. And so, how long is the campaign going to run for?
30 days.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have plans on extending it if needed, or does Kickstarter not allow for that?
Kickstarter doesn't allow that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I figure that if we got 4,000 by the third week of the first campaign, so I don't see how we're going to need to extend it. But then again, there's also this global pandemic, and then there's the drop off of who was there for Adobe Kroger and Changeling and not for Mythics.
Yeah, that's fair points. Yeah, you got fair points. Now, I don't think we've talked yet about what your goal is, because I don't see the goal on the preview page.
$4,000.
Okay, nice, man. Nice.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think a lot of people would actually be pretty glad about that, especially with a lot of the other Kickstarters, and I mean, even including Jack Irons as well, being 10,000, and like some of the more famous ones being like closer, like reaching the hundreds of thousands and everything else like that. It's 4,000 when it seems a lot more doable and a lot more easier on people's banks.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it allows for the opportunity to get past the goal and then get to that next stretch goal and maybe get more story, more issue, next issue, partially or if not fully funded.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be very happy to have it go up to $6,000 because that means that everything's going to be practically done for the next one, and it's going to be a largely self-sustaining project.
Exactly. So even if you don't make the full amount to do a whole nother issue, you'll at least be a great big chunk of the way there.
Yep, and I'll have things to show people long before we go to promoting the Kickstarter.
We all know how important that is in the crowdfunding environment.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm really glad to hear that things are moving along with the story, with you guys' universe here. Is there any more anything you could tease maybe about the upcoming issue?
Well, I'm going to be introducing a new part of the Mythics tool bag, which is the focus item, which is basically an item that the Mythic chooses to focus their magical powers on, and it's something that they don't use often without some kind of authorization, due to the fact, paladins might pick up on it, and that's also not as effective as having a familiar with you. So it's going to have a whole lot of drawbacks to using it, but it's also powerful in its own right as well.
Very interesting, man. So a new ability, a new tool in her arsenal will be introduced in this issue.
Yep, and I'm going to get questions about why didn't she use them in the last issue?
And how will you answer them?
Because, for one thing, Gallatin was there. So if she needed to fall back on magical powers, it'd be more effective with Gallatin.
Interesting.
Having a focused item is she can use the magic, but not as high of a power as she need to take on a group of fully powered witches.
What about LARPers, though? I mean,
that's a big reason why she used stun batons, is because they didn't seem like witches. They seemed more like the LARPing type.
And she totally kicked her ass too.
Yep.
That's if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and read issue number 1 if you haven't, or pick it up with this campaign.
Or they could go to the Wicked store, get it for 99
Well, I
cents.
wasn't gonna say anything, but but it's very true. It's actually available now. If you haven't read it, you can go to the Wicked store, as you said, and pick it up for in digital and see if it's your cup of tea. And if you like it, then you can go back to the new book on Kickstarter.
Yeah, and that's the thing about most Kickstarters or Indiegogo campaigns. They don't think about selling the comic afterwards. They're falling, they're falling upon the idea that they might have, they might become special later on when their career has taken off. But that's as much as there were great comics in the 90s, there was a lot of things that was not good for the industry. And that one was Special Collectors Issue 1. All over the place. So, yeah, if you think that you're going to make it as in the comic book industry, great. But tone down your expectations, because we learned a lot of lessons in the 90s that just because you put Special Collector's Edition on it I won't make it a collector's item.
True, and not only that, but you're limiting your scope to grow your audience that way.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Now, I would love to share a couple pages, some art from the upcoming issue. So I actually have a page up here that I'm going to share now. And I'd like you to tell us maybe a little bit about the characters that we're about to see.
All right.
So let me go ahead and pull that up now. It's one of the most iconic scenes I think that we've seen so far from the new series or from the new issue. And can you tell us a little bit about this interesting pink-haired girl?
That's Marilla. She's based on an actual person named Lenore, who designed our logo for the Mythiverse.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny.
And I can't talk about a whole lot of the character, but if you read Mytho Chibi, she also has a sister that's going to be in a later Mythoverse series. Or later issue of a Mythiverse series. She's a changeling mythic because it's based off of a tweet that Lenore put out there. Well, can I be a changeling mythic? Sure, why not? I mean,
sure.
When I think about it, well, the Mythic Order probably picks up a lot of changelings over their time. Some of them babies like Arlene. And what are we going to do with them? Simple. They're probably going to make them raise them as well as they can to lead mostly normal lives and also be in service of the Mythic Order, defending humanity. And she's a bit more silly than Althea. They've been friends since their training days. And for the most part, they're very different. They can be very different people at times. But it also makes the best friends, Someone who's very different from you, but you still get along.
Yeah, good point. No, it's interesting. What kind of a dynamic do the two of them have together?
Oh, they're best friends.
Nice. Dude, that's awesome. Well, I love the idea of a changeling mythic. That's really interesting.
Yeah, so did I which is why I went with it. I mean, sure, this could work.
That's kind of cool when someone from the fan base kind of comes up with an idea like that and you fully embrace it and incorporate it in. That's pretty cool.
Especially when the person that suggested it is the first one.
True. You can't get much better than that, can you?
Nope.
And I know people really love the artwork on this page. I think everyone loves their jackets. Everyone's been talking about the jackets.
Oh yeah, Lenore told me that she wants Morla's jacket. So hey, who knows? Maybe if you guys throw us enough money, we can do a cosplay line.
That'd be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? Well,
didn't for the first wasn't the first campaign? Didn't you guys have the sweater from Changelings?
Yeah, we had the hoodie, Maeve's hoodie from Changelings, and about the problem with running that as a full line is that Dan's wife actually made them.
Okay.
That's a little bit much to ask her to do that all the time.
I mean, to be honest, a sweater like that being handmade from one of the creators of the actual comic's wife, man, to be honest, if anything is going to be a collector item, that would be it.
Yeah, and it's the thing that makes it really hard to make is the cat ears on the hoodie.
Exactly. Oh, you can't just ask like anybody just to throw those on. It kind of takes time. You have to do it yourself. You know.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see like maybe more simple designs moving forward. Maybe that could be mass produced more easily. Like this jacket here. Maybe you could show up on a campaign or on your web store somewhere. Or it would just be fun to see more clothing items come out based on different things from the Mythiverse.
Oh yeah. And you know, the funny thing about Althea being in One Piece is that whenever someone depicts her in a swimsuit, it's usually a bikini.
Hey, you know what can you say, man? She's got that. She's rocking that 6-pack. You know.
Yeah.
She works out. She ripped. What can I say?
The cover from it for issue 2 was done by Dylan Fagan, and basically it's one of the depictions of her in a bikini, showing off a 6-pack.
Speaking of which, the next page that I'm about to share with y'all is similar. Let's see. I think I actually could just pull it over since we're on there. Oh yeah, look at that. Dope. So look at this. Here's another page we see from Changeling number 2. I mean, sorry, Mythics number 2.
Wow.
Oh God, where'd that Changeling get in here? Get out of here. I apologize. I should lock my door. No.
You left the page with the Changeling on there. God.
I know, right? Well, I think it's because we're talking Changeling Mythic. That's probably why it's on my mind. But I like this page because this is what kind of goes back to what you were talking about earlier about the Spriggans, and this is her kind of recounting how she first became afraid of Spriggans.
Yep. And it's actually a 6-page flashback, a 5-page flashback.
Nice.
The 6th page got cut off in the preview pages because it's on the up. It ran on the 6th page. So this whole thing is about showing the limits of Spriggans for the turning clothes inside out to work. You gotta have a certain percentage of your body covered for it to work, and well, underwear isn't going to cut it.
Not quite. No, the next page I want to share here kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. I think I'll throw this comment up on the screen here once this page pops up. But Neostar Production in the chat says that 6-pack. Yeah, here's another page here of what went down. And I love the creature design there. You really taken that whole idea of something that you kind of think might look silly, and you really made it look, or you and the artist have made it look terrifying.
Yeah, Beth did a really good job with Spriggan. I'm very happy with what she was able to do with such a limited reference. Because there's not so much about there's the only reference I could give her was from that Wikipedia page.
Well, I wonder why there's not more imagery out there for it. You know,
probably because Elder Scrolls has taken it.
Right, it's taken over the modern, mainstream idea of what it is, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I love you guys bringing back the old school style legends and mythology and whatnot.
It's actually the reason why the Mythverse started up.
Really?
But yeah, Brett and I were talking about our worlds, and it's just hooked up. I clicked in that, hey, we've got this similar idea. And we're also going to always thank Cody for being the one that found out that you can go to DM jail over talking too much.
Yeah, that was fun to find out. Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad for him, but it allowed Dan to set up the Slack so that he could, so that Cody could talk in there without worrying about upsetting any Twitter gods of sorts.
Now, I love the look that that Althea has here on the bottom panel. It's she looks so fierce right there.
Yeah.
It's like she's about to kick that Spriggan's ass right there.
Oh yeah, she's definitely pissed. Of course, she's angry about a lot of things in this scene. She's angry about the Mythics not catching up on that one Spriggan.
Now, can I ask you real quick, a little bit, maybe without spoiling anything, is there anything you can tell us about the significance of this symbol here?
Well, basically, it's meant to be the sign that she's supposed to pick up from the burrow. But things go south as soon as she's taken out by the Spriggan.
Okay.
And Spriggans don't take kindly to trespassers.
As one would imagine.
Yeah, so it's one of the fun things about making these. I mean, this comic is that coming up with ideas what to do with the mythologies. What are we gonna take? What are we gonna do with it?
How you're gonna make it your own?
Yep, and how much of it is actual folklore, and how much of it was distorted by either the nature of folklore, where it was they're largely oral tellings of these stories, and then you have something like a Spriggan that Elder Scrolls use all the time, and people will do nothing but make fan art of those Spriggans without taking into the account of the Spriggans of folklore.
So in a way, you could say that what you guys are doing with the Mythiverse is bringing the old legends and folklore back into the modern day.
Pretty much. And it's also something that Brett's done with Changeling, which is really the whole Changeling mythology is interesting in that there's no one type of spirit that does it. Spriggans have changelings as well.
How's
that now?
Yeah, what? How is that?
Basically, anything that's a spirit can switch out a baby. Any kind of sprite.
So what is that? Maybe can you give us a better definition of what a changeling is? Maybe.
Basically, a changeling is essentially a fairy child that has taken over the life of a human child. And it's often in folklore, it was the explanation of how of certain disorders, such as in Maeve's case, autism was explained.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay.
So you're saying that a Spriggan could be considered a changeling if it was to be placed in a
Well,
human life?
well, it could be. It could create its own. It could switch out its young for a human child.
And interesting. Huh. Oh, that's trippy, man.
Yeah.
I would love to see a story exploring that a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want this next image I'm going to share is I believe this is an image of a Spriggan, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's a nuclear levy.
Oh, what now? I'm sorry.
A Celtic demon.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Damn.
Its weakness is running fresh water.
Damn fool! Don't mess with Althea and her hose.
She could have used her magical abilities or something to be, or even just blessing the water, you know. So
you never know.
Well, no, it's fresh water that scares it away.
Isn't that funny?
Yep.
The thing was like, we're at the beach. She'll never find fresh water here. Fool! I have a hose. I love it. Dude.
If it was a freshwater lake, it'd be all over the place.
True.
Yeah.
Good point. That's funny. But no, I love the image here. It's such a creepy looking creature, you know.
Oh yeah, it's also blamed by the Celts for any kind of epidemics or sickly livestock.
Oh, then definitely happy to see Althea taking that one down.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's creepy, man. I love the tie into the legend, the mythology, and it's kind of. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was going to say for the demon itself, just hearing that like it's blamed for plagues and stuff like that. Looking at it, it even reminds me of medieval art that they would show for like the Grim Reaper sometimes, where it would just sometimes be a skeleton on a sickly horse or something like that, and it was saying like that's pretty much their representation of the plague, and it's like that's a good way of showing that too.
And if you notice, because my sister's an archaeologist, and when I actually got her a cow skull for her birthday one year, and I'm pretty sure, and I think Matt confirmed it from one time, but I think that's a cow skull. Is that right?
What?
Is that a horse skull or is that a cow skull at the front?
Horse.
Oh, no, creature. It is really. Oh, okay. It looks like a cow skull to me, but I guess the horses have similar. Yeah, that'd be interesting if it had like sort of mutated kind of creature. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Neostar in the chat says this one looks like this one's strange looking wraith.
It's extremely terrifying.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with this one. But I love the start now. Who did the art on this one?
Travis Martinez. I worked with him a few years back on a project, so it was good to work with him again for this one.
Very nice, man. Any plans to work with him again in the future?
Yeah. Maybe a comic project during the off time for Mythics Kickstarter.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just more art for the series would be cool to see.
Oh yeah. Well,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks. It's in a way I saw the print as being something that'll continue on with Dylan's cover art. Granted, the swimsuit isn't the same type as the one on the cover, but you know, it paints something of a story.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, man. Now the campaign comes out tonight. at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and you guys are going to be doing a stream to celebrate the launch tonight. Is that right?
Yep, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Very nice, man. And what kind of stuff are you guys going to be doing on your stream tonight?
Well, we'll be talking about the Kickstarter. Definitely go through the page because it'll be live.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah, are you guys starting right when it goes live?
Yep. So we'll have something of a. We'll be taking a look every once in a while at the amount that's raised. It's gonna be interesting, to say the least.
Seriously, man. Well, I definitely wish you luck on the campaign and everything going forward.
Thanks.
Yeah. What do you hope to bring across with this issue? Is there any kind of themes or messages you're trying to bring across?
Basically, it's if your greatest fear has a stupid weakness, definitely run with it.
That's awesome, man.
Such as, hey, if you're scared of spiders, they're so small that hey, you can crush them. That's their biggest weakness.
So, in a sense, Mythics is about overcoming some of those weaknesses?
Pretty much. Or at least this issue.
Nice.
The next issue is going to be... It's going to have more about Alpheus and Gelatin's bond. And it's also going to... The bond between Althea and Gelatin. And
right,
it's also,
they have a really close bond as familiar to her mythic.
Yep, and it's going to turn everything inside out. Turn it upside down because they're going to, in a way, I've set it to be something that implies that she gets missing from her apartment. She goes and fights them, but what happens when that is upset,
Interesting, yeah. Man. Now, could you tell us maybe a little bit about the magic system in that you kind of employ in the series?
Well, for Mythics, it runs along lines of what we set up for the Mythoverse magic. And
you guys kind of work on that all together, huh?
What?
Did you guys kind of come up with a unifying kind of system in a way?
Yeah, basically anyone can use magic, but the ones that are able to either have a natural talent, or they have a familiar, or they have something to focus their magic on, such as the wizards in Adobe Kroger, which I could be wrong, but their magic is focused by the item that they have. For example, the wizard on Adobe's team, Casey, I believe her name is, she has a garden hoe, which for them it's to humiliate the wizard. But for a mythic and their focus item, it's something that they have a great bond to. For example, Althea's focus item, because he's a writer, is a pen.
That's pretty good.
And yeah, she can
pretty appropriate.
Yeah, and she can write the spells on her opponents.
Oh, nice.
So it's gonna be a very close range kind of thing, but it allows her to do magic anyway.
Now, you talked a little bit earlier about how she kind of makes her living as a writer. What kind of stuff does she write?
Because of the nature of her job, she figured, why not? What could be better than to write about her cases, except from a fictional character's point of view? So write things that are based on true stories, but everyone will think that she made them up.
Because who would believe all these things happen?
Yeah, who would?
And
That's
pretty funny.
And she finds herself. Eventually, she's going to find herself with this problem that she's become famous over it.
Oh God!
She's able to make a living. She's not super rich, kind of famous, but they know people know of her.
And will this new notoriety bring her good fortune or bad fortune? Maybe a little both.
A little both,
as it usually does.
It's not.
That's funny, man.
Yep, it's not going to be a volume 2 story. Well, it's going to be a story that's going to be there eventually.
You know what? I just got a great in my head. I just kind of thought of another great cosplay piece of art you guys could commission, because I know you guys did the Sherlock Holmes one, and I think you guys did a John Wick one and some other ones. It'd be fun to see one of Althea and Adobe as Gus and Sean from the Psych TV show.
Oh boy.
That would be hilarious. Oh my God! But no, I just love the idea of like Althea and Adobe like starting a detective agency or something. I don't know why, but I just feel like that would be so fun to see something like that. Hopefully, you guys have I know you guys have a lot of plans. Hopefully, we'll see something along that.
Oh, we do have a crossover planned with Mythics and Adobe Kroger.
Oh, nice, man! Very nice. Is that something that you guys can tease a little bit about at this time, or still kind of in the early planning phases?
It's on the development board right now.
It's on the what now? Oh, yeah. The drawing board.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, don't want to spoil too much on it just yet. Yeah. But no, that's exciting, man. I know a lot of characters, or a lot of fans rather, would love to see those characters cross over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, if there's a Changeling crossover, it'll be after the main series is done.
Oh wow, yeah. That's a long. I think a lot of people can tell with that one. It's kind of a longer burn because of kind of just her position in life, her age. She got to go through some things before she's going to be introduced to the larger mythiverse.
Well,
I think.
Well, the thing is that Althea's story ends. The overall story I have planned ends in 2018, and Brett has his set in 2019-2020.
Sorry, say that again now?
Well, Brett is in present time, so I figure it's probably about 2019-2020. So a couple of years after Althea's story ends, and if she's ever in a crossover Changeling, it'll be when she's a fully developed character.
And so when you say her story ends, you don't mean her full story, you mean kind of her origin story, maybe?
Well, the full story planned out.
What's that?
The full story planned out. There's gonna be sequels to that story, but the overall story arc will be completed by the year 2018.
No, I am gonna hold you to that crossover, man. You can't tease us, man. You can't tease us like that.
Well,
we look at as Neo Star Production says in the chat. The Mythic Trio does sound like they'd make a great team. I can't wait for the day of a formal crossover. Don't break our hearts, man.
Well, we did tease it in one of the prints for the first issue.
Exactly. So. Remember the dragon print?
Yep.
That was a dope image. We got to see that come to fruition one day, even if it's not in the main Mythic series. Definitely want to see that happen.
Oh,
Yeah. But no, that's awesome, man. It sounds like again that you guys have a lot of big stuff planned, and this is just another phase in moving that forward.
yeah, exactly. And if it's anything I have to say, if you don't like Althea now as a character, you might like her later on when she's got a more developed character.
Nice, man. Yeah, she's got to kind of find her footing and kind of walk her own path, and then we'll see where she lands up. You know.
Yep.
I know, man. Well, that's awesome. Now, what can you tell us maybe a little bit, just a little bit about the future of Mythics and what we can expect beyond this issue?
Well, I have to say that the character Arlene will make appearances every once in a while. So we'll also see her grow up as well. And Althea herself still be going through a number of traumas in her life, as we all do. And volume 2 will be dealing with one of those big ones. So if you're there's gonna be basically, I'm gonna say Althea's gonna go through life. There's gonna be major ups and there's gonna be major downs.
Hey, that's good though. That just shows more of the realism that you're trying to not necessarily show, but just trying to show more of that relatability to everyone.
Yeah. Althea is supposed to be, actually, in a way, they're all supposed to be for every person. They have their normal lives outside of this power they've got. So that's the whole relatability of all the characters. And with Adobe Kroger, he puts in his job as a software engineer to make her more real. I got my thing about writing that could make Althea more real. And Brett's talked about how his brothers impacted his writing for Maeve. And the thing is, people can tell when you're faking it. And when it's faked, it's going to be hated. If it's based on something you've experienced or something or part of your experiences, they'll love it because it's one of those they can relate.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. And well, that's awesome, man. I love what I see here, man. I totally think you guys are going to do something awesome with this next book, and the art, Beth's art is just amazing, and so I'm super excited to see it, man. And and as we wrap up this for today's episode, I wanted to ask you if there's anything you wanted to tell people out there who are considering to back your campaign later tonight or this week.
Well, I'd say the best thing to do if you can't support, just share either the Facebook post or the tweet announcing it, because I've got a lot of cool stuff that'll be sent to backers as part of the in-campaign fulfillment promise for a whole different set of reward tiers.
Very nice.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you again, man, for taking time to speak with us today. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this. There's nothing but good praise I heard from the first issue of Mythics. You know, people really enjoyed the mystery, the story, the character, and I think a lot of people are really looking forward to finding out what happens next with Althea.
Well, there was that one critic, but
hey, everyone's got one, right?
But
Hey, everybody's entitled to one. Okay, come on. It's kind of like Family Guy with Spider-Man's roles.
yeah, but I hope that the redone lettering for issue 1 has won him over, because I know that he likes what he sees for issue 2 so far. So no.
Well, that's at least an improvement right there already.
Yep.
And on my end, I just want to say, the first issue really sets up the mystery. There's a incident that happens in the first issue, and it really is going to drive things going forward and kind of lead to some really interesting things, I think. I can already tell from the background there's characters who are planning things, there are characters who are looking for things, and there are characters who are trying to protect things. So there's going to be a lot of these different forces kind of mingling together, and I just can't wait to see where they all play out in the next couple issues.
Yeah, same here.
It's going to be awesome. Well, thank you again for taking the time to speak with us and for letting us show off your little preview here. Where can people follow you online so that they can make sure they can get into that link and back your campaign when it goes online tonight?
You can follow me at @MattTrain on Twitter for the Kickstarter, as well as the @Mythoverse account for the official tweets and Twitter account of the Mythoverse.
Very nice, man. Well, thank you again, man. So we're going to be ending to our show now, but why don't you plug your show that goes on later tonight?
Oh yeah, later tonight, in a couple hours now, we'll be running the Radio Mythoverse stream, and that'll be what we'll launch the Kickstarter for Mythics issue 2.
And what is the name of your channel?
Is Mythoverse, I believe. But
perfect, easy enough to find, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's just hope that. Oh yeah, it's the Mythoverse, and if there's more than one, it's the one with 129 subscribers and 79 videos.
Very nice. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and plug the link in the chat here just in case people want to jump in and find that as well. But thank you again, man. And please, everyone, go check it out today. If you didn't get a chance to back them on the first campaign where they launched their 3 comics in a shared universe, then you'll have a chance to do so again when you're backing this campaign, as we talked about in the video today. There's going to be the year 1 collection, trade paperback, collecting all 3 of the first issues, plus all the Mythochibis comics, which is a nice little fun gag comic to kind of complement the main series. And you'll be helping to fund this next issue. And the more that it gets back, the more that goes down for issue 3 and beyond. So the more that support, the better. So please go check it out, guys, and check out the stream tonight for more fun. And we will see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you at the next stream. Take care, guys.
Later.
See ya.